so we put a question box on our Instagram to see if anyone had any questions. And one of the most popular questions was, is it bad for me to run during pregnancy?
Certainly. So I'll provide you a link to our podcast that was with women's health physiotherapist Beth Scott, who is incredible and her knowledge is amazing. And we focused all about this topic, running in pregnancy and postpartum. So for anybody inquiring about that question, I highly recommend you listen to the podcast, because I'll quickly do a summary, but it's so important to listen to that, because it gives you so much more valuable resources. The basic rule is that it is deemed safe for women, if they've been running pre-pregnancy, to still keep running. Now, that's the recommendations. It's definitely not what I recommend, because running does have an impact on your joints, and you've got to be mindful of that. As we talked about, the change internally in your body is not as supportive, and you don't want to be putting any extra pressure. Overheating. If you're used to running and just sweating and getting so hot and buggered that that satisfaction feeling, that's not the point you want to get to in your pregnancy. You want to be moving, yes, which, to be fair, I believe can be done through some nice, gentle, relatively good pace walking,
Yes.
because that's going to give you the extension you need through your hips. So when you walk, your leg goes back behind you, and there's this beautiful extension through your spine. There's this beautiful extension through your hips, which is perfect for helping your posture through pregnancy. When people run, obviously, it depends on their technique. So if you're running and you're, rounded over and it's really hard, and you end up being like short shuffle movements with your legs, you're better off walking, to be honest. And the other thing to be mindful of is footwear. What are you running on? Are you running on hard concrete? It's not going to be good. Bra support, because your boobs are growing as well. So there's lots to consider, and it's definitely not a yes, you can run until this point in your pregnancy and it's safe. It depends on your individual situation.
Correct. I would agree with that entirely. And I also agree that the benefits you get from walking, especially in pregnancy, I think may even outweigh what you might get from running in pregnancy, and the sort of adverse impacts of running in pregnancy, or potential adverse impacts. So I completely agree. And I think the same would apply to the sort of postpartum period as well.
Oh, 100%. This is one of my, big things, is when you become a mother and you've gone through not only the pregnancy, but then the birth, your body needs to recover, and things that are high impact are certainly not going to be your friend. Even if you're feeling fine at the start, you don't have this microscope that can see inside your body, and potentially, if you're doing something like running early postpartum and you don't have any vaginal heaviness or incontinence, it's not to say that you will not develop that as you go through your postpartum journey if you continue with high impact exercise. So certainly, I would not recommend early postpartum running.
Yeah, and I will be exactly the same. So we're certainly on the same page there. And I know a lot of my women, they're itching to get back to it, but I think it is really important to hasten slowly in this case, and really take care of your body, and be mindful that it is healing, and it's such a big journey your body has gone through pregnancy and birth and in this postpartum time. So I agree completely with that. It's an amazing journey. But
yeah, definitely. It's so important to remember that, your body is adjusting, but what are your goals? Because if pre-pregnancy running was a freedom for you, and that gave you those endorphin hit, and it was a quick sweat, and it was time efficient, then of course you're going to want that same feeling either in your pregnancy or postpartum. But it's about finding movements and exercises that give you that same sort of satisfaction, but without the impact that it potentially can have on your body.
Absolutely.
For more videos just like this, visit pregactive.com.